Hello, and welcome to this conversation about women making changes in their life and in their business. My name's Jill Hunt, and I work primarily with women who want to make their own business more successful, but they need some marketing to help them to do that, and they want to really find a way around managing their website, blog, social media in a time that they can manage. And this is Victoria. Hi, do you want to tell us about yourself?
Gillian. Yes. I have this company, The Secret Calm, which helps people who are stressed, women who are stressed mostly, who are looking to change their lives. And I think we're quite sensitive creatures, so we often succumb to the pressures of working life, and the theories around change are that it's one of the most stressful times of our lives. So what I try and do with the women that I work with is to take them through from that point of stress where they're not sleeping or eating properly, and take them into a focus of what they can do to transition and make those changes. And one of the reasons I'm talking with Gillian today is because the biggest issue often, other than health, is the biggest worry is how are they going to sustain themselves. So very often they look at career changes at later life which aren't really realistic, and then they look at career building and perhaps starting a business. And this is where I really want to talk to Gillian today, because starting a business as we're older is quite daunting and almost seems impossible. So some of the skills that Gillian's got is going to help some of my clients. So I thought we'd have a great discussion today about how it all works and how we can help each of our client base.
Yeah, it's going to be a good conversation. So what do you notice, Victoria, what do you notice really sparks the change, the reasons that people want to make changes in their lives?
Well, I usually start with my story. Basically, yeah. I was a career woman, and before that I'd had my children, and I started later in career, but I was totally focused, a bit of a workaholic. And basically I was getting to an age where I was being disregarded, roles were being taken from me, and also I was finding it quite difficult to keep up with the pace of change that happened after the 2008 recession, when there was a lot of cutbacks. So I lost a lot of my team, my workload got sort of really much heavier, and at the same time I was getting older, so I started to look around at other options. And because the stress of the job was pretty much 24/7, I started to really start panicking, really. What am I going to do? Do I really want to go for job interviews again? How do I transition from one career to another? How do I start again? Should I start a business? And what are the skills for modern business? I mean, in the last 5 years, things have changed so much, and it's very much about you as a person. And I think that my clients, like me, are right, okay, I've been playing these roles all these years. Who am I? What do I want? How do I get an easier lifestyle?
Yeah, and that I think that is something which I'm particularly keen on as well. As I like to help people with their marketing, and one of the things that I'm keen on is fitting the marketing in around the time that you've got, because this is one of the great advantages about having your own business, that you can choose your working hours, and you can choose when you do things. I'll give you an example of myself this week. I'm trying to make sure that I enjoy the winter and don't suffer from that lack of sunlight. So I've chosen this week to go into the garden for the first couple of hours of the morning. And sometimes I've caught myself thinking, oh, but shouldn't I be at my desk now? And actually I've made a conscious decision that I'm going to spend different times at my desk. It's my choice when I'm at my desk and when I'm not at my desk. And providing I haven't got a client meeting, that means that I have scheduled time to do my work, but I've also scheduled time for something that's important for me. And this is the way I want to work with my clients, that their program is flexible to them and their lifestyle.
And that's totally so important for me. And again, finding that space, making choices. So when I left my career in education, I decided I was only going to work between 10 and 4, Monday to Friday, and preferably 3 days a week, which I pretty much kept to. So one of the things about that is the lack of pressure, because yes, there's times when there's pressure and you've got a project and you've got deadlines to meet if you're launching something in your business. So for me, it was a business choice. I wasn't going to take a career choice. I was going to start a business, and I'm very glad that I did. I'm sure you are too, Gillian.
I'm very, very glad that I did. Occasionally, I think many of us will survey the job market and survey what's out there, and then come back to the feeling, no, I'm very happy working for myself. And one of the things that I think it's worth us discussing is that the other advantages that you get from working for yourself, because not only are you responsible for generating your own income, but it's a big self-development curve. Do you find that?
Well, I've enjoyed reading. I like going to seminars, webinars. I've done lots of training, which I didn't have time for before. And more importantly, I've done a lot of networking as part of my marketing strategy, is to network and to find the support in those networks of either heart-centered men, and very much there's a lot of women out there now, and especially down here in the southeast, there's a great migration from the city. And for well, one of the reasons also is that there's an impetus for women to speak up and speak out. So to go along to networks and to market my business through networks was rewarding. It provides social time where you are supported and cared for, and you learn so much. So training on that level was much easier, because what happened to me, Gillian, was I started transitioning between, I didn't just leave my job, I actually spent a year building up the foundations of the website and things like that, and finding my message, etc., and what I wanted to market. I did that before I left, and so I found that quite difficult, because I was doing a 24/7 job anyway, and having to do a lot of weekends, a lot in the evenings, and half terms and holidays. And so I think it's having that social side, which again I wasn't getting in my job. I wasn't getting that social connection that I get now. And oh boy, are people inventive and creative and having fun. This is fun now.
Yes, and that's what it's all about. Do you know what? There's no point in doing it if you're not enjoying it. I'm a great believer that part of being in business is about having fun.
Yeah, and having the time to do that as well. That's the thing, as you were saying earlier. It's about managing your own time and making choices. I mean, I will do weekend events, but if I do weekend events, I manage my calendar. I've also got grandchildren. Now, when I was working full time, I couldn't see them. I hardly ever saw them. And now I see them, obviously, when they're on term times, but I'm able to engage far deeper and on a much more satisfying level. So quality of life is improved, and health. What do you find about health as well? Because I know a lot of people get stressed about the idea of this overwhelm of marketing ideas, and being strong and healthy and having walks in the countryside help, don't they?
I think get health, for me, health is two things. Well, it's many things. It's health of the mind and health of the body. And it is a fact, again, we're talking about people at a more mature stage in life, and we have to look after our health. I myself have type 2 diabetes, and this is something that requires constant pulling myself back on track, for constant vigilance about how much exercise I take and eating the right sort of foods. And is that different being in work? It's probably no different being in business or working for a company. But I think that one thing to be wary of, whether you're working for a company or a business, is that it's our own responsibility to look after our health. And it is very, very easy to say, I haven't got time to do that walk, or I haven't got time to prepare that healthier meal. And it's just about deciding. And that is the same whether it's about your life and your health, or whether it's about the business that you want to have. It's about deciding what you want and then what you need to do for it.
Yes, and what you've prompted there in me is that the thought that when I was working, I was very much teacher, lecturer, job, in a certain role, with a certain position. And I found it hard to then think, right, okay, my kids are grown up, I've got grandchildren, but they're not my responsibility directly. And what's my role? You know, and I'm not a wife anymore. I'm still a mother. I'm not a wife anymore. So it's kind of like, who am I? And I find that with my clients is okay, so you want to set up a business, but which part of yourself do you want to invest in it? Are you going to turn and look at the resources and tools that you've already learned, or do you want to embrace something else? And do you, how do you want to spend the rest of your life? So if you're getting older, say you're approaching in your mid-50s and you're planning your retirement, it may be well worth you leaving earlier and still recuperating. It's probably not worth staying on for government retirement. So look at your pensions, but also who are you? What do you want to do? So for me, it was complete metamorphosis I had to go through. And I think that's where the marketing starts, because you don't want to set up a business if you're not sure if it's really what you want to do and is it going to fulfill you. And I think that's probably part of it, is we want to be fulfilled as we get older. What do you think?
Yeah, I do. And I think that's probably where the term heart-centered business very often comes from, which are people who are running a business which is because it's something that they feel passionately that they want to do. And maybe we do get into the money side of things here, that maybe when somebody's running a business that they really, really, because it's something that they really, really want to do, it may not be as commercial as something like a law practice or an accountancy company.
Definitely.
And the financial reward may be, let's say, different. However, that is still a real business. And that is still a business that needs nurturing, looking after, to provide what as a business is having people that you serve and getting some type of reward from serving those clients. And so marketing is about being able to have a story that you can tell and having a way of finding people that are interested in your story.
And I think that's often where women especially, we're a bit more confused about who they are, and more open at the same time. You see, it's easy to say we're confused, but we are actually more open and more seeking, so we have a more holistic view. But when it comes to business, I think a lot of the time we revert back to old school business thoughts, and of course modern business has changed. It is very much people-centered, and even if you're selling products, you have to have a good awareness of why people buy, how they buy, and they need to know, trust and like you. So the social media is very important, and that can be quite daunting to a lot of women, especially if they feel they're older or they haven't got the look, or they've got a particular image of someone who is a businesswoman in their mind. And of course you do get the ones that are very strong, who are very strong and powerful and focused in what they're doing, but then they lack the skills. So there's a big learning curve when we make a change. And I think that the point to remember is about making a secure income. An income may be less, but you may be fitter and healthier and happier, but you still need that income. So it's income driven. So as you say, I think the important thing you said, Gillian, was it needs to be a business that will actually work. It can't be something you just want to do if you know, for fun, without a strategy behind it. And in order to get that real business going, it needs to have strategy.
Yeah, and that's one of the other things. The strategy usually will revolve around are the clients that want the service that you offer. That's one of the key things about formulating your strategy, is identifying who the clients are and identifying how you're going to make. In other words, you have to be really in a marketplace. Marketplace is nothing other than a place where people can exchange, and there has to be an identifiable marketplace, because without that, there's no business.
And
the marketplaces are so, we talked about networking can be marketplaces. The internet can be a marketplace. However, this is one thing which I have long conversations with my clients about, is still, it's identifying the places on the internet, because it's so vast. It's you have to identify, is it groups where people are, is it particular geographical locations? There has to be some idea of who it is that you want to offer your service to.
And of course, if you don't have some sort of mentorship, you don't have some sort of coaching. So the difference between coaching and mentorship is coaching is inspiring and helping you to innovate, etc., and keeping you motivated to keep going and open. And mentoring is actually sharing skills and knowledge and expertise. So you need a combination of those two. But without that, I think setting up a business, especially if you're older, can be so stressful because of the sense of overwhelm. So one of the first things I do is to try and get the pain of the overwhelm relieved, so that stress management and stress techniques to calm themselves. And that can be focused on before you go into a meeting or a negotiation with a bank or any kind of presentation you're doing for your marketing. So there are what I do with ladies is I help them to learn these techniques which will enhance their performance, especially speaking in public. But the whole thing about overwhelm is there's so much to do. So you need guidance, and I can't stress that enough to my clients, because that you need guidance. You go to a doctor to find out what was ailing you. If you've got stress or migraines and it's in your neck, you'd go to a doctor. So if you're starting a new lifestyle and a new business and changing who you are intrinsically, and then finding out who your authentic self is, so that you can speak clearly with genuine interest and motivation that comes across to your clients, then really you need some sort of strategy, and you need a mentor or a guide or a coach. You need some support. And then I think the problem there is where people find difficulty finding one that suits their personality, suits their business. So what do you think is more important, Gillian, that finding someone that suits you as a person, or finding someone that suits you for your business style?
That's a good question. I think you need both. I think you need both, really. I think this whole thing that once you reach a certain age, you don't particularly want to be told what to do. And so I think having somebody who can help you to find your own way can be very, very helpful. Your question was, do you need a coach or do you need a mentor?
Well,
I think at different times.
Do they need to be in tune with your business? I mean, you could go to somebody who's had a lot of experience in a particular business you've set up, but they may not adhere to your personal values or your personal choices. Because I found when I left, I interviewed about 14 different web designers and web developers, and I had to learn the difference between the two. And also I needed someone who would be available if I was in trouble at weekends. I didn't want to get to a situation where I couldn't get someone because they were only working 3 days a week, or they were working part-time, or they folded. I wanted a substantial trust in the person I was working with on a website. And I think it's the same with with guidance for marketing and business strategy. It's
yes.
What do you think is more important? Someone who's aligned with your values, or like you said, perhaps you need both?
Well, I think first of all, you do need somebody who's in line with your values. I mean, one of the things I do, for example, with my clients is I find that there's different categories of people. Some people just want the stuff done for them, and some people want to know how to do it themselves before they commission somebody or decide to do it themselves. And so I will have that conversation to find out, because if they want, let's say, a website designed, it's going to cost, as you know, it's probably going to start at £2,000 to have a website designed. And if they want to have it designed, then they would be best to go and interview and find a good designer. There are quite a few women who I work with who are not yet ready to invest £2,000 in a website design. They want to be able to do it themselves. And therefore they need to get some knowledge as to how they set up hosting, how they decide on a theme, how they decide what content, how they do, I'm getting a bit technical, how they do the wireframe and things like that. And it is possible to do it yourself. You will get a very much more slick, professional look if you have a web designer. But that luxury is not available for every person starting their own business.
And it comes back down to money again, isn't it? And how you invest any pension that you've got or any savings you've got, and what your lifestyle is, So, and I think that one of the problems that women have is the influence of outsiders, because they lack confidence. Sometimes they listen to too many other people. It's much better to have one person who's devoted to you and your success. And to trust that person.
Yes, and I think that's it. I think one thing to always remember is that when you are running your own business, you are the manager of that business, and many other people will come to you with their own agendas. So a web designer's agenda might be to sell the next website, and then it's up to you to decide, is it a good marriage? Because it may be or it may not be. It's very much the same as employing painters and decorators. Some are great and some aren't.
And of course, for me, what one of the things that tripped me up for a long time was choosing a logo. And I don't think many people are aware that an awful lot of web designers will actually just pull one off the internet, and it's pretty much stock and can be seen variations everywhere. But for me, it was a very personal thing. It was a lifestyle choice, because my business is my lifestyle. And I knew that from the beginning. It wasn't a case of how can I make money quickly and how can I turn a buck. It was a case of, I'm an older woman. I want something rewarding, and I want something that really I can invest myself in and enjoy for the next 20, 30 years. So I want it to have meaning and purpose. And I want to have meaning and purpose, and anything that represents me out there in this big public arena, as it is now, I wanted to have a really good logo. And I worked with somebody who was really good. I had a really good logo designed for me. But I woke up one morning and thought, I'm not in love with that. It's good. I like it. We worked on it. We've done it together. She's listened to my ideas, but I'm not in love with it. And then I decided to go and find another designer. Fantastic. Two ideas, fell in love with the first one, and that's my logo. And I felt happy then, but it was a big journey. And I think it was a lot about my own feelings about myself, who I was becoming, and how I wanted to see myself in the future. So when it comes to marketing, you're marketing a product, a business, a service. But it is, at an older age, it's an investment in your future, and it needs to bring in the money. So I wanted something that would actually sell my business as a high-end business and not just have a stock logo created. And I appreciate we don't all have the money, but we want to make the money. So that's self-esteem as well, isn't it? And
It
and
is.
following your intuition.
Yes, yes. And at the end of the day, if that logo does its job for you, it was a good investment.
Mm. So
Um,
what do you think about the rest of the marketing then, and branding?
What do I think about branding?
Well, I
Did
think
you say?
yes, because when I'm talking to women who are setting up their ideas about their own branding and their marketing, how they're going to position it, they want to attract the right clients, don't they? So it's got to be an expression of who they are in their business, and how they can follow that through.
Yes. Quite often, I think businesses need to have the little bit like you did. This is my observations. They need to be able to go through a development phase, and I think that branding too early on in the business can be putting up an obstacle to getting the business going. Because the branding can evolve. If you were to discuss with a branding expert, they would probably first of all have a look at what you've already got, and then have a conversation with you about your identity, aims, etc. And until you've actually practiced for a little while, it can be difficult to know yourself, what your brand is.
So,
I think
sorry, what would you say is the most important thing to do on a marketing level initially? Then, when a woman is setting up a business and she's all excited, she's made the change and she's getting fired up here. What's her first strategy? What's her first step?
The first step would be to identify who the client is that she most wants to deal with, and to work out how she can speak. I mean, literally speak to that client. Because it's very much easier to get feedback when you're speaking to somebody. Once she's established that there are clients in her field and that she can speak to them, and that she has got something that she can offer and that they want, and that's quite crucial. This is what I call the tame and test period. So once she's established that, then go ahead and start building up the online foundations, which is, and I know it's a chicken and egg, because some people say I can't speak to anybody until I've got a website. But I would encourage people at the beginning to maybe have a template website, just so that they've got enough to speak to people and have conversations with them. Once they know they've got something that's worthwhile, then start building. Social media is one of the easiest things to build when you're first experimenting, because it's very easy to make the covers for your platforms, for Facebook, LinkedIn, and it's very easy to get copy, much easier on social media than on a website. I would say have a basic website, what I would call a blog website to start with, so you can put a series of, this again will be my advice. If you've got something that you want to get across, build a series of at least 4 blogs that explain what you do. Much easier to have 4, because people can then see, oh, there's some depth to this. So start with 4 blogs and some social media.
So is marketing really involved with a lot of writing? I know a lot of my clients actually say they don't like writing, or they can't write. And I encourage them eventually to start looking at writing blogs and books and marketing their businesses in that way.
Yeah, the writing can also help you to find yourself as well. There's another purpose to writing. But if they really can't write, and let's face it, some people are much better at speaking than writing. We're doing video now. There's video. There's no reason why a blog can't be a video. And then you can get a transcript, because you might prefer to make the content as video, but remembering that your clients may not watch video, they might prefer to read. so you can get a transcript of the video.
Yeah, I've been talking to people yesterday about that. I do some transcription for people, and value of that in blogs and posts and pamphlets and booklets, and using it as a basis of a chapter. So yes, I totally agree. So it's a really good way to start.
And a podcast as well. Again, that's a whole other field, making podcasts, but it's another way that people can get their message across. So there's many ways, and we're speaking, being able to speak to a group of people, even at networks. If you get the opportunity to speak to a group of people, it's a good way to get your message across.
Yes, that's great. So there's a lot that we can do, but we have to learn a lot of new skills as well. And it can seem, I know that it gets overwhelming during a business sometimes, because sometimes you think, I can't do all this, and it's time to get a VA or a PA, and you can't afford one. But it's time then to come and see me, because I've got these techniques. So if you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed about how you move forward, or if things are not working very well, things are, you've put all this effort in and you're not getting the results back, then I can help with stress management techniques, visualizations, NLP, different types of skills to unlock that sense of being stuck or fixed or wanting to run away. And I think the worst thing is to give up on a business before it's had a start, or really run itself through a course of those strategies that we were talking about. Yeah. So what's your advice?
That's so good that people can have that facility to get help, because we've probably all been there where we want to just run away. It happens. We're human beings, and things can build up too much. And it's not the fact. It's not bad that we feel overwhelmed. It's bad if we don't know how to deal with it. And what we're saying is, you can offer a choice.
I think the thing to do is think about business and setting up a business, and even developing a marketing strategy is life, and life is ups and downs, and also has stops and starts. So it's a case of if you're planning a new life, you can go and hide and take what life gives you and perhaps be dissatisfied, or you can embrace life and you can meet the challenges and you can start again. You can renew yourself. And as a rejuvenation coach, I'm all about women empowering themselves, motivating themselves to move forward, and to embrace the challenges and excitement of a new adventure of setting up a business. And when you look at it as an adventure, climbing a mountain is fits and starts and stops and falls and setbacks. But that's part of the fun. And I like to emphasize that, because marketing is fun to me, and it's ever changing. But what fun you can have on social media, and what fun you can have at networking. It's just amazing how life can become so much happier.
Exactly. So, Victoria, if people want to find out more about you, I mean, we've covered a lot of different topics, haven't we? We've had a good examination about why people change their lives, why they might want to set up in business, becoming self-aware, and being more authentic, and finding your way around marketing. If people want to find out more about you, what's the best way to contact you?
Thank you. My company is The Secret Calm. So it's thesecretcalm.com, and it's calm as in CALM. And you can find me at Victoria at thesecretcalm.com. So check me out on YouTube channel, Victoria Sheridan or The Secret Calm. And I've also got loads and loads of different Facebook groups for different aspects of my business. So I'm sure if you Googled me, you'd find me, but definitely thesecretcalm.com. Thank you.
That's really
good. What about you, Gillian?
And you can find me at gillianhunt.co. And what I would say is that if you are wanting to find that straightforward way through your marketing, so that you feel confident about what you're doing, that you feel that you've got a strategy, and you want to really get good at one aspect of it, I can help you to get there. So that's really good. I hope it's been a good conversation. Let's hope we have another one.
Yeah, it's great, Gillian. Thank you so much. Look forward to the next one.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.